What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the DGD Podcast Socials. Robert Reynolds, Dan Kylie over there. Dan, how's it going, my man? On this Friday evening.
It is good. We took my son out for his birthday to eat, and I had tickets to go see Caitlin Clark in the Fever tonight, and we passed them up to take my son out. And probably a good thing because I hate people, and there were 17,575 people there at State Farm tonight to cheer on Caitlin Clark.
There you go. So I think you made the right call, personally. Guys, we got a loaded show tonight. Obviously, if you're listening, you might not know this, but we're going to answer this question. Why Georgia, or will Georgia finish number one in the 2025 recruiting class? I think the answers might surprise you. Possibly. We'll see. But obviously, a loaded show. I'm going to talk about several things, really. We're going to answer that question. Isaiah Gibson and Justus Terry back on the market, right? Both decommit from USC in a span of really, 12 hours, 24 hours? We're going to talk about that. The last weekend of Georgia official visits before the dead period. We're going to talk about, obviously, we're going to talk about the class, make a little prediction on this 2025 class for Georgia. And at the end of the show, we're going to draft. We're going to have an NCAA Stadium draft. I think this will be pretty fun. Stick around, stay tuned. It's a loaded show. But first things first, the show is brought to you by our first sponsor of the night, Apotheos Roasting. Excuse me, say that 5 times fast. Apotheos Roastery. Guys, best coffee in the business. Elite coffee. Have it every single morning. It does no justice me sitting here telling you. You need to try it today. Go to dgdpodcast.com/apotheos and start shopping. Use code CCC, that's CCC at checkout. Get free shipping on your order, and 20% of every bag of coffee or K-Cup that you get on your order, 20% goes to the Classic City Collective. Do yourself a favor. Get yourself some elite coffee. It will change your life. I guarantee it. With that being said, Dan, Justus Terry and Isaiah Gibson, within a span of 24 hours, both decommit from USC. I want to get your initial thoughts on that. What did you think when that happened?
I honestly couldn't believe it because I will be full disclosure here. Whenever Justus Terry and Griffin decided to commit to USC, everybody, not one person, not two people, everybody on 3247 Brooks, everybody that I trust in the industry, they all said that they're going to be back, that they're going to come back to Georgia, that they're going to decommit from USC, that it's just temporary. And like I said, this wasn't one person that said that they would back out of the USC thing. It was everybody. And for just me personally, like, I didn't think that was true. I was like, no, like they may not come to USC, but they're not going to come to Georgia. I think they're in it for the money. You know, I just thought it was gone. I thought it was over. And everybody's told me, Dan, relax. I'm telling you, they're both going to end up in Georgia's class. I didn't see it happening. And then, like you said, within 24 hours of each other, Elijah Griffin first. But it was Elijah first, right? And then
it was Isaiah Gibson.
I'm sorry, Gibson. I don't know where my brain's at. It's a Friday night.
Isaiah Gibson. Yes, exactly. Isaiah Gibson first.
Gibson first, then Terry second. They both decommit, and now they're looking just like everybody in the industry said that they're going to end up in this Georgia class. But I mean, that would be huge. And we talked about, what was it, last week or the week before last, about a must get for Georgia. And, you know, we kind of took Justus Terry off the board because we all kind of agreed that's one of the guys that Georgia wanted to get. If they can get them and then get the best edge rusher in the draft or in the class, that would be incredible for Georgia. I didn't see it happening, and it's happening just like everybody said it would.
If you tuned into this show long enough, you would know that we discussed this, me and Keon. When they committed to USC, we did think that it would not stick. So far, that has been accurate. The fun part about it is this. I think things could honestly wrap up fairly quickly. I'm not saying it will, but definitely something to note. And Evan brought it up, and I was about to bring it up when he brought it in the chat here. Isaiah Gibson's on campus right now on an unofficial. Canceled an OV, by the way, to Oklahoma to come to Georgia for an unofficial. So take that for what it's worth. Listen, I'm going to go ahead and make the prediction now. I think both of those guys end up in this class. Just going to leave that there. To answer your question, Wallace, there you go. That's mine. Dan, do you want to answer Wallace's question? His question being, do y'all think they both are going to commit to Georgia?
Like I said, initially I didn't think that was going to happen, but now reading the tea leaves and just believing the people that know the business, that's exactly what it looks like it's going to happen right now. I 100% honestly thought that they were just in it for the money, but I was dead wrong. And I'm more than happy to say that I'm dead wrong. Because if you look at that class that we're putting together, just defensively, like let's just only look at the top tier of the defensive. You got Zayden Walker already, right? Griffin, possibly. Everybody's kind of leaning Griffin. You get Gibson, and then you get Terry. You're talking about you land those 4 players. Man, listen, I know that not every single prospect pans out the way that they're supposed to, but damn it, boy, if you ain't stacking a class and giving yourself the best opportunity, that was a hell of a group. And that's just 4 of the 25 to 30 that they're going to sign. That's just 4 of them.
Yeah. Oh, it's insane. We'll talk more about that later for sure. But yeah, no, I think you're setting yourself up if you get those 2 to be a hallmark of a recruiting class for sure.
Don't discount Zayden Walker.
No, God, no, you can't do that. You can't do that at all. You can't do that whatsoever. That's just, I'm with you 100% on that. All right. Having a good old time back there. If you hear that, so yes, that's a raging 6-year-old, by the way. So just letting y'all know. So apologies for that. Anyways, I just let you want to hear this for a second. This is wild. But no, other than that, man, I think you look at it right here. Wallace, yeah, I think they're both from Georgia. I think before the season starts, they'll be in the class, in my opinion. Toby T saying technology difficulties at the moment. Excuse me. My brain was automatically telling me technical difficulties, but that's not what he typed. So, Dan, I want to bring this back to you. Let's do this. Final weekend at official visits before the dead period. Right? I think the key for me is Omani Kroma. I think it's the last name. What do you think about this last week? And we'll recap the visits this month.
Well, you always want to put your best foot forward, right? And this is the final one right here. Now, I always put a lot of value in that last visit before the signing day, because I always feel like that's the most momentum right there. If you can get some good type of feeling coming out of that, you have a real good chance. I get really nervous about getting excited about guys that commit in the summer. Now, listen, I understand, and I've been around a lot of these athletes. A lot of them want to commit in the summertime so that they can just focus on their season and they don't have to worry about it. And hopefully coaches will stop calling. You and I both know coaches are not going to stop calling. They're going to start pushing them. So having a lot of great momentum coming off of that visit right before signing day in December, I am always really psyched about that. Of course, good momentum is good momentum, and you want it any chance you can get it. You got these guys here on campus. It is friggin' hot right now, brother. Okay. I work outside for a living. And most of these guys are from Georgia. A lot of them are from the South. So I don't think that we have a big problem, but you get some kid up here from the Northeast and he ain't never been in the Georgia summer. He comes down here. He's like, oh hell, I got to practice in the summer. That might change his mind a little bit, but hopefully Georgia's keeping them boys inside more times than not. But I know they do a great job on those official visits. I have heard about, I've seen firsthand a little bit of what they do on their visits, not official visits, but just on their normal visits. And Georgia does a great job of making sure everybody's involved. Everybody's having a really good time. And I really feel like that when Georgia puts the press on you, and if they really want you, they have a really good chance to get him. So, getting these kids here on campus right now, your question was, how do you feel about it? Well, I love having these kids on campus, but I'm always optimistically nervous about kids who commit in the summertime because they still have 6 months, 7 months to flip. because nothing means anything until that name's on a piece of paper.
No, you're 100% right. I think another thing I see Toby Teeth from X, welcome in, asked a question. It says, "Is this going to be Georgia's best class ever?" I think we'll save that for later in the show. I think that'll answer the question when we do our prediction for this class. I'd say the 2.0, if you will, the 2025 mock class 2.0. We'll talk about that later. Otherwise, I think the visitors list, right? You've got a few guys that are coming in. But I think the majority of the work, in my opinion, came before this. Georgia's been doing a ton of 7-on-7 camps and stuff as well. Getting
My son
talent.
was there Tuesday.
How did that go?
Yeah, it was fine.
Damn, that was quick. Okay, fair enough. Either way,
they've already got their quarterback for 2026, so it doesn't matter.
It's not even that. It's still mattered. How did it do?
Oh well, we finished in the Final Four. Buford won both sides of the bracket. They had 2 teams.
Yeah, no, there's been a bunch of 7-on-7s up here, man. Went up to cover Winston-Salem State, which was pretty good. I'm going to give a shout out to a kid from Butler High School, Zach Lawrence. Probably not a name that Georgia fans are going to listen to, but I will say this: that kid is a next level quarterback. What I saw Wednesday was legit shit. I'll leave it there. Definitely got the arm talent for the next level for sure. So wherever he goes, I think he's slightly underrated, but wherever he goes, I think he's going to do just fine. So had a good time watching Chambers. Always fun to watch Chambers. Butler, Hillside out of Durham, and then Carver from Winston, Ragsdale out of Jamestown. Good competition, man. A lot of good competition out there. That was fun. Love the 7-on-7 stuff as well. But yeah, the 7-on-7 stuff's always fun to keep up with, ain't it?
Well, the 7-on-7 stuff so the high school 7-on-7 I like. Real 7-on-7 I don't like at all. It's like the AAU culture. It's I don't care for it. Maybe just had a really bad taste in my mouth for the couple of tournaments that I've been to, but the high school stuff I like. I mean, you're playing with your school, really controlled. It's really quick. They get you in and out. And especially like when you're doing the 7-on-7 camp at UGA, right? Nobody's acting a fool. I mean, nobody's out there acting like a clown because you're not going to do that in front of Kirby Smart. And if you've never been, this isn't like camp when you were a little kid and they just got some camp counselors out there who have no affiliation with the school. It's, these things are run by Kirby and his staff, and they are out there watching everybody. They get measurements on these kids. They get film on these kids. They talk to the kids. They talk to the coaches. They're very, very involved. I mean, like I said, my son goes to Mill Creek, and he was getting measurements from our kids. He was watching. He was right there listening in the huddle. I mean, he's right there. So he's involved. And, you don't have kids acting a fool and being smart asses and jacking off or just goofing off. They're not doing that stuff with Kirby Smart on the field. Now, in the 7-on-7, when there's no college coaches there, boy, that is a fool's errand trying to keep up with that stuff.
Yeah, shit gets wild. He definitely gets wild. Let's do this, man. So we talked about the official visits. I think it's time we adjust the conversation, and we pose the question again: will Georgia finish in the first? I guess you could say, will Georgia land the top class in the 2025 class? What we'll do, Dan, I'm gonna let you start. Just yes or no, and then I'll let you explain your logic and reasoning. And then I'll do the same thing. Will Georgia land the top class in the 2025 cycle come signing day?
I say yes. That's my initial reaction is yes, but I can flesh that out. I'll let you. What's your answer? Your gut reaction?
I think so, but it's not going to be easy, and I don't think it's going to be a. I don't think it's going to be a situation where Georgia, like, I forgot which cycle it was. Was it the 21 class where we just pulled away and it was just like a far stretch from the second place? I don't think that's the case. I know we talked about this offline, but you cannot discount what Ohio State's doing right now.
That's
you just cannot do that. when you look at what I think the top two corners are like 4 and 6 overall, depending on the classification, or depending on the ranking service. Excuse me. You can't discount that. It's just one of those things. So we'll bring on Keon here as well. Keon comes in at the right time. Keon, we're posing the question, right? We're posing this question. Will Georgia finish with the top class in the 2025 cycle? Yes or no?
I'm going to have to say yes, guys. Can y'all hear me clearly? Hopefully I'm not coming in too loud. What's going on, guys? Also, wanted to let you know, technology difficulties, buddy. You've absolutely slaughtered that. Oh, but yeah, no, I think Georgia walks away with the number one class at this point. When you see what they're doing with their defensive line recruiting, I'm gonna say it. This might be our best defensive line recruiting cycle ever. If we pull in Elijah, Justus Terry,
Griffin.
This is it, and then on top of that, you also have Bryce Davis as well. Jeez, like this is really shaping out to be the best defensive line class that we've possibly ever seen here at Georgia. And I think when you get Elijah, you get Isaiah, you get Justice. I think those three guys alone are going to shoot us all the way. I'd say at the very least, we move up to 3. Really, I'll say
4
2.
now. Well, I think if you look at On 3, we're at 4 now.
Yeah, if we get those 3, if we get those 3, we're probably at 2, if not 1. And the way how this cycle is looking, the way how the summer is looking, we might mess around and get all 3 of those guys before a down of football gets played.
So you're saying you might mess around and get a triple-double?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just last week.
Go ahead, Dan.
I like all the different people that, and you nailed it. Like, this defensive class might be the most solid defensive class I've ever seen. But if you look at what Ohio State's got cooking right now, they got number 2. It was St. Clair, the quarterback, is at number 2. They got Sanchez, the corner, at number 4. They got
at the moment
at number 6, and then they're trending or they're leading for a lot of these other guys. But it's hard to overcome some, like getting 3 of the top 10 players. But Georgia, if you look at the players that they're going to get, they're all inside of the top 25, right? So Georgia might end up stacking 5 guys inside this. So you would have 5 stars in the top 25. And if I'm not right on that, then I apologize. But as far as I can tell, and I can count a little bit, it looks like 5 inside of the top 25. Now, what I don't see in this class is any corners. I don't see any corners listed, any 5-star corners or any of these high-end corners looking at Georgia. I don't know why that is, because Georgia's done really well with the corners here lately. And then the one thing, and I know this is kind of a little tangent here, but just play ball, if you will. Why can't we get a fucking wide receiver? I mean, can we get a 5-star wide receiver, please? Like, I mean, they're all over the board.
Your answers, your prayers might be answered, because let me tell you, the way how things going with CJ Wiley, from what it appears, is trending towards us in the right direction. And I firmly believe that I believe CJ is going to end up being a 5-star before the end of the cycle, to be all the way honest.
What about this like French dude? Can we get him or Caleb Cunningham? I mean, they're just littering this 5-star wide receivers. Khalil Lockett.
I think so. Khalil Lockett.
And he's Bama.
Yeah, he's a Bama lean.
Looking that way, yeah.
Also, I know that this isn't necessarily the channel for it, but Keelan Russell, Duncanville, Texas. Hey, man.
Talent's all. More?
No, Keelan Russell.
No, he showed out at the
and Elite 11. And DeCorian.
DeCorian Morris from Duncanville, Texas. He's the number 3 player in the whole freaking country.
I'm not gonna lie, that guy's him and French are probably going to Texas.
Bro, he's 5'11".
Yeah,
Don't let that sleep on you, though.
Yeah, bro. These speedy wide receivers.
Let's do this, guys. Let's do this. We can sit here and look at the threats, right, for Georgia's case to be number one when all is said and done. But I'm gonna put Keon. I did some graphics here, and we're gonna go through them. This is my prediction, if you will, for a mock class 2.0, if you will. We're gonna walk through this, and I'll walk through it, and we can discuss what we agree on, what we disagree on. We'll break it down by class. This will ultimately, I think this will be our end of our class, right? This could be what we have in 2025. We'll start off and see what y'all think, though. First things first, quarterback position, right? Lone Ranger, Ryan Montgomery. I think I don't necessarily know if you take a second quarterback in this cycle. You might look to take maybe 2 in the 26 class. That's just my thoughts, and I might be wrong. They might go for somebody that I didn't list. I don't know if it's a walk-on or anything like that.
Yeah, we already got Jared Curtis lined
in
up
26.
in the 26.
Yeah, no.
Yep.
But I think you look at if you don't take anybody in 25, you're going to take 2 in 26, and I think you have a better shot in the 26 class to get that second quarterback.
Well, did they promise Curtis that they wouldn't take another quarterback?
I don't know.
I mean, I thought that was something that he had
mentioned. Look, you have the number 1 quarterback in the class for 26. If that is the case, that that was the situation with the promising of not taking another quarterback, cool, fine. Just stay locked in. Because I'm going to tell you, I don't know if you had the chance to sit down and watch his tape. There's a couple of things that I did pull away from watching it. I've watched his tape multiple times at this point. The kid is very talented.
Curtis.
Yes, 100%.
Okay.
Very talented. Big body. This guy can throw a football out of the stadium from the 50-yard line, hit in the parking lot. The level of talent that he's going up against, if you sit down and watch it, it's noticeable. Like the talent.
So it's an Arch Manning situation?
Yes, but you can tell he's actually good.
And what I'm saying is, like, he
not
just
to say
so
that Arch
better.
isn't. Yeah, like he like for the most part, he looks.
Yeah,
it's like he's making the throws he's making. I'm not saying he couldn't do that in college, because he definitely can, but I'm just telling you the talent discrepancy is there.
Well, so the only reason that would bother me, and I'll let you finish, but the only reason that would bother me is not because the talent's not there, is that it's going to take him a second to catch up to the speed of SEC football because he hadn't seen it. Where you have a kid like Juju, for example, right? Now, I know he's not playing in Gwinnett County, but he's played a lot against these Gwinnett County kids, and he grew up playing football in Gwinnett County. So, like, at Mill Creek, when we play on a Friday night, the defense, pretty much it doesn't matter who we're playing except for maybe 1 or 2 different teams. But out of the 10-game schedule, 8 of the kids have multiple 3, 4, 5 kids who are playing D1, and I'm talking about like SEC, ACC, D1 football. So, like, I always feel like quarterbacks that come out of systems like that are ready to roll, but that doesn't mean they're as talented as Curtis. Like, Curtis could have more talent than those guys, and he's probably going to end up being a better quarterback. But, like, when you're playing against that talent every single day, and you got to, I mean, there's nothing given in 7A football here in Georgia, brother.
So
I'll tell you this, though, too. We talk about Curtis, in my opinion, and it's because I've seen it in person. I'm not even trying to be biased, but I think Faison might be better than Curtis. Yeah, that's just where I'm at. Faison Brandon.
Yeah,
and he's up here out of Grimsley, man. That kid can fucking ball.
Yeah,
that kid can ball.
From what I'm hearing from people around him, he might end up in Bama. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
God save the queen if that happens. Either way. No, listen, I think there's going to be a good argument there. I think Jared Curtis might be a better Georgia quarterback if system fit. I love what Faison brings to the table. I definitely, I just do. Tape lies on him, man. If you haven't watched this tape and you put it on, I think you might understand.
I think it's kind of funny how all of this is like transpired with Faison, because if y'all been here on this channel every week when we talk football and we talk quarterbacks, my guy Rob has been letting it be known, hey, Faison. Let me tell you something, Faison. And now the world is seeing it. So I'm really happy for him. Really happy for you, because truthfully, you damn near broke the news to us, to be all the way real. So
Faison says he's training for Tennessee.
I think in my opinion, I think he's a Tennessee ball. I think he will be it. Listen, don't sleep on NC State either. Surprisingly, NC State is a team that you need to watch for, but I think Tennessee's got the momentum. I think that's where he ends up. I will say this. I've covered him since he was a freshman. He was different then, and his freshman year, he rotates in with a guy that's now Ryan Stevens. He's a receiver at ECU, and when you watch him as a freshman play, and you start to understand, it's like UNC's offered already, different things like that, and they ain't even really played, and it's just like you watch him practice. It made sense. Yes.
This is the first time I've ever seen this in my entire life, okay? I'm looking at the 247 rankings, right? 247 has Faison Brandon as the number one player in the country, right? The composite has him at number 30. I have never seen that in my entire life. Where they have him at number 1, but composite has him at 30. So, like, they have Chris Henry Jr. The composite has Chris Henry Jr. at number 1. But I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. I was just looking. I'm trying to check out your boy Faison. I don't know nothing about him, but I have never in my life seen that. 247 got him at number 1.
Legit 6'3", 6'4". I think he's closer to 6'4". 200
6'4",
pounds, 200. He's 200 right now. He's at 200. Yeah. And I'm looking forward to seeing him hit all parts of the field again this year. I'll look, and I'll tell you right now, knowing their schedule, when they play Mount Tabor week 1 in Greensboro, that right there is going to tell me a lot, because without Alex Taylor, without Terrell Anderson, you're going to see Faison, what he can do. You heard it here first. If you're not familiar with this name, listen, it might not go to Georgia, but I'm telling you right now, DJ Howerton, tight end, is going to be a monster, in my opinion. Caden Cato, another guy. I think those guys, and Mitchell Summers, the running back. Yeah. I'm curious to see what they do with Tabor and Jaden Blair. It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun.
Yeah, I think it's going to be interesting looking at it all. Man, I'm gonna tell you that, and I don't want to just overlook the 25 class, but boy, some of these kids that are in 26 are insane. Yet again, between Faison, Jared Curtis. I mean, you have Dia Bell, who just not too long ago committed to Texas. These guys are throwing the pill, man, all over the field. And it's going to be exciting to see these guys really transform and really take that next step going into their senior year.
I'll tell you this too, Keon. You're going to love this because he just got a basketball offer. But I'm telling you right now, one of the most intriguing recruitments in my time will be Kendra Harrison.
By far.
Dan, I'm going to put it to you this way. 5-star tight end, 5-star power forward. And he just got an offer from UNC basketball at a UNC 707. Now he has offers from UNC in both sports.
Mm-hmm.
That right there, that's one I genuinely, at this point, I don't know what sport he's going to play.
Yeah.
Just don't. Just don't.
It looks like I'll be cheering him on no matter what decision he makes.
We'll
Because
see.
if he don't come here and he go to UNC, yeah, he for sure playing basketball.
I mean, you got
I'm
their
sorry.
track record with Peppers and stuff, man, is insane.
Yeah.
Let's get back to business. We talked about Ryan Montgomery in this class. Running backs perspective, you've already got Bo Walker. Chroma, I think, might be able to fit in this class. I just don't know if we land him. I put an in-state guy like Donovan Johnson in this class, potentially. I don't know if this is a class for running backs, considering the guys that we miss on or maybe didn't go after. Like you look at a Jordan Davison, right, that, probably going to go to Texas. Alvin Henderson just flipped to go to Auburn, right? There's some good running backs out there, but I just don't think we land them. I think you push hard for Chroma, and if you get Chroma, I would probably look at Donovan Johnson flipping this name off and putting Chroma and Bo Walker and being done. But at this point, I'm not comfortable enough with Chroma. He's on his official week, like we said earlier. He's on his official this weekend, so maybe we can do some things. But in the meantime, I put an in-state guy like Donovan Johnson that Coach Crawford seems to like, and we'll see what happens with Bo Walker as well in the fold. Do y'all agree or disagree?
I agree.
I'm just not a big fan of Bo Walker. I mean, we played him and we killed him. Our running back was better than he was. I mean, maybe something I don't know about. They're a smaller school than we are, so that probably has something to do with it. But we had a 5'8" running back that put a show on. So I don't know.
I think it'll be interesting to see for sure. I mean, listen, it's kind of hard to tell. I think 26 will probably be better for us in the running back department. You also brought in 3 running backs too in this past cycle as well. So I think that's intriguing as well. But I think we'll be fine there. Oh, we got the Aloha Barada. Did I do that right?
Yeah. No. But he had a Jamaican accent for aloha.
Right. But no, I do like Bo Walker. I do think like his running pattern is very good. He runs completely under his feet, so it's more of like a balanced running style. He doesn't lean too far forward, which we're starting to see from some guys. I don't know if it's because guys are starting to play more running back and slot wide receiver that I'm getting that from, but I really do like his run pattern.
As we move to receivers, gentlemen, I think this is where it gets fun here. CJ Wiley, Talon Taylor, Thomas Blackshear. There's 2 names on here, and one of them is not Travis Smith. Landon Roldan, and Jarrell Boulder up here out of North Carolina, right outside of Charlotte. Why is Travis Smith not in here? Well, in my opinion, I think he ends up at a place like Tennessee. However, I think if you have to do a trade-off, in my opinion, I like where CJ Wiley and the trajectory is in regards to the talent. I would love to have CJ Wiley and Travis Smith. I just don't see that right now. You got, obviously, Talon Taylor committed. Blackshear's a commit. Landon Roldan, I think, is a name that people probably aren't going to pay attention to until it's too late. Came up camp, low 4.4s, consistent. I'm not comparing him to Ladd, but he probably can fit that playing style. Maybe not the separation like we're used to with Ladd, but I do think that he can be a contributor at the next level. And then Jarrell Boulder is probably a name that you may have heard. Kid can play. He can ball. I got 5 high school receivers, and that's impressive for Georgia standard when it comes to receiving and high school talent. Do y'all agree?
100%. I think we do have a really good wide receiver class lined up. Really just excited to see how it all pans out. Of course, with CJ Wiley, you also have Blackshear there as well. The last one I believe was Jarrell. he is somebody who I think is very interesting to me. His catch radius stands out. And bro, if you really look at that kid, he got some big ass hands.
Mm-hmm. That he does.
One-handed snaggers. You see what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Like I said, the kids can ball, man. That's the thing too. I mean, I guess it's not these. And Dan, you brought it up. It's not the 5-star guy, right? But if we're being serious here, Georgia's kind of found a recipe with a lot of good receivers rotating all the time. However, I do see the other side of the sword. I'd love to see another 5-star receiver. I mean, I'm with you there. But I think that would be a good haul for receivers. Maybe that's a sign that they don't expect a lot of kids in the portal again. I mean, also you did take 3 receivers this past cycle, even though 2 of them will be gone, I would assume. So,
I think
multiple.
Yeah, I think you might lose 4 wide receivers this year. 3 or 4. I mean, if Dom, Kobe, Arian,
Michael Jackson,
Michael
maybe.
Jackson. I mean, but then again, he might. I just don't know. I mean, even if he stays, you're still at 4 right there with those guys: Arian Smith, Kobe Young, and Dom.
Yeah, I think you're in good hands there. We'll move through the tight end position. We've got 2 tight ends. Y'all know who it is. I'll post it up anyway.
Yeah,
Elias
elite
Williams,
and elite.
elite.
Yeah,
I mean,
and Elias shut his stuff down, so that's a huge deal in my opinion. Ethan
for us,
Barbour,
absolutely.
I don't see him being an issue bouncing out of this class either. So I think you're good. And now Todd Hartley works on the 26 class. Offensive line is going to be fun in my opinion. You got some guys on here. Juan Gaston, I feel like he will commit in this class. This is a cannot miss in the state of Georgia. You cannot miss this guy. Elite guy too. Excuse me, elite guy too. Dontrell Glover announces his commitment Monday. I'm expecting it to be Georgia. I think Nick Brooks as well. Think he becomes a dog. I'm gonna butcher the hell out of this, but I'm gonna try it. Damola Ajidahan. I doubt I said that right, so I apologize. Boy's a dog. And then obviously the current commit, Mason Short, recruiting all these guys. No David Sanders. Yeah, not that we had a bad visit for him. I just don't see him fitting here. Just don't.
Yeah, I don't see us getting David Sanders or Davis Sanders.
Yeah, I wish we'd get Davis Sanders. Apparently he's God. Man, it'd be fun. Before we move on to the defensive side of the ball, guys, there's 97 people watching right now. Make sure to hit that like if you're on YouTube, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe. That way you can watch our shows. If you're on X, thank you, and make sure to do what you got to do over there too. Much appreciated. And also, if you're listening, like, rate, and review. Let us know if we're talking too much nonsense, whatever. But either way, we move to the defensive side of the ball. Guys, I think we talked about this. Defensive haul could be elite. And we start off with just that. Defensive line haul, I've got this. Elijah Griffin, Justus Terry, Christian Garrett, Kevin Wynn, and Stephon Shivers, the current commit. Christian Garrett and Stephon Shivers are the commits currently. You end up with Elijah Griffin, Justus Terry, and Kevin Wynn on top of that. Wow. Do we see any disagreements there, folks?
No, I just think that this is one hell of a class. And if we're able to bring in all of those guys, just those guys alone that you see, Trey Scott,
you gotta get even more.
You gotta give him a pay raise, right? Like, that's crazy. Put that back up there. Look at that again. Everybody take a look at this one more time. How many 5 stars are we potentially looking at the end of this cycle? We got 1, 2. I mean, and then it's only going to get crazier from here, fellas. This is going to be the front 7 class to what we had last year. That's why I say that this year's class, it not only has the potential for us to be the number one class. But defensively, you're looking at probably Georgia's best front seven class ever. For sure.
Dan, I want to get your thoughts on that. How do you feel about that? Do you agree
and
with
also,
that?
I mean, like Gibson is an edge rusher. Are you not considering him part of the defensive line?
You say Gibson?
You don't, or you don't have him in the class?
No, we're doing edge specific.
Oh, okay.
We'll get to the edge class next.
You're talking about you're bringing in the number 1 and number 2 defensive tackles in the entire draft. Now, listen, I know a lot of people are kind of stuck in the fact that we don't have another Jordan Davis. We don't have a Carter. Well, yeah, man. I mean, like we had Stroud and Seymour, and it took us like another 30 years to get another pair like that. Okay, so like we're gonna have 2 elite defensive linemen, but are they going to be Jordan Davis and Carter? Probably not. But like, damn, dude, like they're as good as there is in this class. And they are dudes. They are 100% dudes. Now, listen, 6'5", 285, 275. That's what they both go right now. They're not 330, 340 pounds and run like a freak, okay? Like, but like, and I'm not saying that to you guys. I'm just saying that to like the people I've been talking to is because they're like, well, they're not Jordan Davis. Okay, well, Jordan Davis was a 3-star coming out of high school. He didn't have that kind of smoke that these guys got. I'm telling you, you're right, Keon, when you said Trey Scott needs to get a raise. This boy's doing some work. My man is working his ass off, and he's putting together one hell of a defensive line class.
Yeah, man.
It's sick. It's sick.
Yeah. Shout outs to my guy Dayton LeBlanc as well, also on that trail.
Oh yeah. I'll say this. We can talk about Trey Scott needing to raise, but if this comes true as well, I think pairing what we're about to show you with this is going to be insane too. Edge class. I've got Isaiah Gibson, Bryce Davis. I think Bryce Davis. Now listen, you've heard me say this before. July 20th is when he's supposed to announce his commitment. I'm telling you right now.
Wait, July?
Yeah.
Oh, well.
July 20th. Listen, do not discount Duke in this. Don't do it. Just don't do it. I think he's Georgia Bulldog. That's why he's on this list. But Duke and Clemson do offer some things that I think is making him think about this a little bit. I'll just leave it there. I still think he's a dog. You got to commit currently Darren Akinigbon, and then I think a kid like Julius Holly that got on the radar can fit in this class and come in and do that, right? Like what they're about. I think you can argue that there's no like elite, like 5-star edge. I'm talking like top 10 edge guy right now. Like you're not going to see like a Mpemba and Damon Wilson back, a couple years back, right? This ain't that kind of class. But I do think right in these areas, the top 100 players, top, whatever, there are, Bryce, Isaiah thinks fringe 5-star, depending on the recruiting service. Bryce is a top 75 player.
Dude, Isaiah Gibson's the number 4 overall player in the country. If 5-star. Huh?
To who? Which service?
247. I'm looking at it right now.
Is that theirs or the industry comparison?
It's
is that the composite?
It's the hold on, I'll tell you. This is he's number 5 in the composite. Isaiah Gibson's number 5 in the country composite.
Shit.
So if you're looking at 24/7 composite, there you go. I guess that a lot of it just depends on where you look, right? Everybody's rankings are different, so it's hard to really say. But to Dan's point, there's an elite safety or edge rusher, excuse me, down. But either way, I think if you get these 4 guys and you pair that with a defensive line haul, yeah, Uzo and Coach Scott just put together one of the most elite defensive line hauls you could probably ever put on paper, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean,
simple as that.
You got to break the bank, Kirby. I mean, at this point, if they pulled this off, I mean, what else is there?
I don't know. It's definitely interesting. I think we'll move on to linebackers now, and this is going to be fun too. It's going to be interesting. There's one name missing here, and I'll explain why. But I think you look at it. Obviously, Zayden Walker's currently committed. I put Tavion Wallace and Christian Gass on this list. If you're wondering why Jaden Perlotti's not there, I just feel like he won't end up in this class for some reason. I feel like it's a lot of work to keep him committed in this class. Like,
doesn't bother me a bit.
I mean, listen, Glenn Schumann has recruited the linebacker room at the University of Georgia so well that you're right, Dan. It wouldn't matter, and that's crazy.
Well, it's the player. It's the player. I don't care.
Okay, fair enough. You're versed in that, so I'm gonna let you take it over on that one. But I think if you bring in a guy like Tavion Wallace, I think Tavion Wallace is us in Florida State. If you can pull it off, you get Tavion Wallace. If it's not Tavion Wallace, I think you can watch for Ty Jackson as well. But I think you get one of the two. I put Tavion Wallace. I like Tavion Wallace a little bit better than Ty Jackson too. But I think Christian Gass, in-state linebacker as well, get him in the fold and just keep it moving. That's another 3 linebackers. It's
Big
insane.
Facts.
It's insane.
I think Tavion Wallace, I'm looking forward to seeing him join the red and black. Just like you said, we have Zayden Walker, who also shut down his recruitment as well, along with Elias Williams. But I'm really much so looking forward to it. This is going to be huge. And truthfully, these guys, let's just call it what it is, guys. They're fucking headhunters. Every last one of these guys are headhunters. Yeah. We know what it is with them. Absolutely.
Yeah, no, 100% agree with that. Schumann's that's just what Schumann does at this point. We move to the last part. This is where it gets tricky. Okay, this is where it gets tricky. Dan, I think you alluded to it earlier. Oh, man, you stopped it. Secondary, right? It's kind of the big question mark for this class. So this is what I've put up here. I don't feel as confident with the secondary group that I did most of these other ones. So I want to preface that. I have, obviously, Todd Robinson. I think you get Lagonza Hayward. I think you end up getting Dejon Lee. I know that's somewhat of a Bama lean right now. I do think that you can get him. And in my opinion, Coach Dante has to get him. And then DJ Pickett. This is the one that really I don't feel super confident in this, which is why I put him at the very bottom. I don't feel confident.
You got us picking up 2 5-star corners.
Listen, I think the track record can help out here, but I think Coach T-Rob and Coach Dante. I think Coach Dante has to get Dejon Lee. I think you have to.
Yes.
And then DJ Pickett. This is again, I don't feel extremely confident with that name. But I think if it's not Miami, I think Georgia has a shot.
And they're both 6'4" corners. We would have absolute monsters on the corners. I mean, my goodness.
Wait. Time out. Dejon Lee and DJ Pickett are both 6'4".
DJ Pickett, 6'4", 178 out of Tampa, Florida. Dejon Lee, 6'4", 190 out of Mount Vallejo, California.
Is Ellis Robinson like 6'2", 6'3"?
I think Ellis is like 6'2".
I believe so. 6'2", I believe, yeah.
All right, so let's just take a second and think about this. If we get both of these guys, and let's just say they play corner. Right? You can potentially have 2 to 3 guys on the defense where you have 2 guys that are 6'4", along with also Ellis Robinson. You're looking at 6'2", 6'3".
Yeah.
How many guys are you finding on the defensive side? And this is not just a question to y'all, but even to the people that are listening. How many people are playing in college football, Power 5 college football, that are in the secondary?
No.
That are 6'2", that are 6'4".
You don't find them.
You don't. You want to know why? Because those guys are fucking wide receivers.
Yep.
Those guys are wide receivers. That's crazy. If we pull that off, that might be the most impressive part of the class.
I will say this. I'm going to reiterate this. The secondary, the names in that secondary, I don't know how comfortable I really feel, especially with DJ Pickett. I just think that there's a chance that you get him, right?
Mhm.
If you don't get
chance is there.
if you don't get DJ Pickett, then you might just go with Laganza and Todd Robinson and maybe Dejon Lee. If you don't get either of those bottom two, I don't know what you do at that
I
point.
think you spin the block on Trey McNutt at that point.
Yeah,
Try. I think you try.
Here's my whole thing is like if we put together the class that you're putting on paper right now, we're going to be way over that 320. Like we're going to be like in historical class range. Like
I'm trying to tell you.
That's what I'm saying. Like if we put together, I mean, like you talking about adding 2 5-star corners that are like both in the top 12 or 15. I mean, damn.
And then, I mean, you got to think that's 2 5-star corners, not including the 3 5-star D linemen.
Yeah.
I'll count Edge into there.
Yeah.
Then on top of that, that's not including any wide receiver that we have finishing this season as a 5-star, which I think when you look at guys like Taylor, you look at guys like CJ Wiley, both of these guys have a chance, let alone one of them is going to end up a 5-star. So it's like the opportunity is there.
I think another thing, Dan, you mentioned the point system. You have to understand in this 25 class, people focus on the magic number of 25. That is not the case for Georgia. You could arguably see close to 30, if not 31 recruits, depending on how things shake out in this class.
I mean,
if that is the case, then that tells me that 300 number is going to be long gone. You will easily surpass that. You will probably get into the 320s at some point. I don't know if you crack the greatest class ever, because that's extremely difficult.
Georgia was at 317 last year.
So yeah, you easily crack in the 320s.
What was the greatest class? What was the ranking on that? Like, what was the
Georgia was number 1 class at 317 last year. Alabama in 2023 with the Caleb Downs class at 328.
Yeah, I don't know if you get 328. You're not getting 328. I'm sorry.
328 is pretty damn. Oh, here we go. The 2022 Texas A&M 333. I think that's the highest ever.
So hear me out. If you're telling me that we in the cycle where we have, we'll just say 6 5-stars. Look, bro, it's close. We might not hit it. That's cool. But I don't know.
I got to say this.
333 is the highest class ever.
I'm going to make a prediction here. If you did a class calculator on 24/7 and you put every single name that was listed on paper, I'm going to make a prediction. You're probably looking at like 326, 327.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to take a guess. So if somebody wants to do the math and then come back, let us know.
I'll work on it. You carry the show.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just saying, man. And that's
it would be an insane class.
That would just be one more person becoming a 5-star outside of the 5 that we've listed already on the defense. That's not including anybody on the offense.
Yeah.
Which these guys go out there and ball out, man. I don't know, dog.
I mean, so we're looking at this class, though, right? And the fun part about it is not a lot of these guys, or I ain't say not a lot of these guys, but there's a lot of these guys expecting to be popping off the board soon, like Donnie Glover and a couple other guys. It's about to start adding up. And
it's about
honestly,
to be crazy.
It is. Don't you know I'm loco? Oh, sorry. I had to do it. It was perfect. I walked right into it. Jeff Hightoff. Oh, Jesus. All right, guys. He throws the over-under 324 points for the class. Well, you heard my number. I'm going to take the guess and say that, well, we'll see.
I'm going to say over.
It's just extremely hard to get there. Like, I'm not saying it can't be done. It's just going to be hard to get there. Because when you start to look at, it's been a minute since I looked at 24/7 stuff, class calculators and whatnot. But when you start to put those numbers together, even when you he said 314. Yeah, 314 over.
Yo, for sure.
Easily over. I think with the class calculator, you start to look into the situation where the numbers start to mean less and less, right? Like as you add more commits into the class, those numbers, the drastic jumps don't mean as much as you get more guys in the class. So that's where I've got it. I think it was, we'll see as he's doing that. But Keon, I want to pose this question to you. In that class, what I'm assuming that your answer is going to be the defensive line. So let's do this. Outside of the defensive line, purely defensive line, that means the edge is in play. What position group excites you the most, potentially, if things stay the same and stay that course of what we just did?
You mean so outside of the defensive line?
Outside of the defensive line. Outside of the
wide receivers. Wide receivers for sure. For sure. Because we are for real getting elite guys this year.
I like the linebacker class again.
The linebacker class is nuts. I'm not gonna lie to you. The fact that we have Zayden Walker already, and I mean, dude, here's the crazy thing: he can continue to grow, and if that happens, then the edge class is gonna look even crazier.
You know, Evan also brings up the tight end room, and you have two elite dudes in that class, and Elias Williams is a physical freak. I'm so glad he shut down his recruitment. Again,
you and me both, bro, because I was scared.
I think that's a bigger moment in a recruitment right there for him than anything else. Just him shutting it down. Dan looks like he is fast at work here.
This is a lot harder than you think it is.
Oh, I know how it is. I know how it is. That's why you're doing the dirty work. No, I mean, tight end room's another good one. Offensive line. I think the offensive line. Honorable mention there, maybe. I think Juan Gaston solidifying that down would be fun to watch. Definitely fun to watch. I think, again, Juan Gaston, you got to land that guy. You just have to.
100%.
Come on, Mason.
Lock him in, Mason.
Yeah, I know that would be fun. See, it's going to be interesting. There was another name that we didn't mention in the offensive line. No love for special teams. Listen, one of our co-hosts was a former long snapper. Evan, I want you to understand that. We show love to special teams all the time. I'm just focusing on what we've got right now. So bear with me, sir, please.
All right, so I am not all the way through this yet, but we're right at 300 yet, and I haven't even added a lot of the guys that you had on that class. So that's just adding. So we're at 300 right now with Griffin, Pickett, Terry, Williams, Dejon Lee, Zayden Walker, Isaiah Gibson, Taylor, and then all the guys that are already committed.
For the sake of time, we'll let Dan sleep on this or do this offline.
I quit.
He quits. I quit.
I'm done.
Dan is a trust me, bro. I was a punter. You gonna tolerate that shit talk?
What?
Harry.
Fuck you, Harrison.
All right, shot fired. Sound like Chicago right now on the weekend. Shots fired everywhere. Anyways, guys, we're gonna bring up our second sponsor of the night before we get to the fun part to end the show. Listen, we got 111 strong. Keep here, guys. We're about to do our draft, so keep it here. We need your answer. Who wins the draft? Okay, we need your opinion on this. So please stick around, and also like, follow, rate, and review. But second sponsor of the night. Listen, it might be last, but they're definitely not last in our hearts. All right, Alumni Hall, guys. DGDpodcast.com. Go to our website. Go to dgdpodcast.com or dgdpodcast.com/alumni hall. Shop Alumni Hall using our website. 8% of proceeds from your order goes to the Classic City Collective on behalf of us over here. Do yourself a favor. Get your license, Nike, Cutter and Buck, you name it, 47 hats, Yetis. Right, get yourself ready for game day. the golf course, you name it, they've got it. Go shop Alumni Hall, 1791 Oconee Connector, number 535 in Athens, Georgia. Go in store, or you can go online. Right, either way.
I
Get
do
yourself.
need a new Yeti.
You do need a new Yeti. It's time.
It is.
It's time. As Bruce Buffer once said. As Bruce Buffer once said, it is time.
No, the old one is peeling. It's peeling bad. Like,
guys, it's time.
It's
time.
Draft time?
Draft time. Yes.
Right. Time to play the game.
I don't have water in my mouth, so I can't do the thing. Yeah. Guys, it is time for the NCAA Stadium draft here. Let me break it down to you. Each of us will get 3 picks. That means 3 rounds, right? Stadium only. We don't count the environment inside the stadium. You get the stadium only, right? Every NCAA stadium that hosts college football is in play. For sake of this, Dan, first, I'll go second. Or Keon, do you want second or third?
Give me third.
You want third? I'll take second. Okay. Dan will go first. I will go second. Keon goes third. This is a snake draft. Keon, you get 2 picks back to back. Okay. We're trying to keep this going. So once the stadium has been picked, it is off the board, right? And at the end, the viewers, you will determine the winner. And we'll also post a graphic for you to comment on as well for others that do not watch this, or the listeners, right? The listeners, when this comes out, you'll get the graphic to vote who wins. Now, with that being said, Dan, are you ready?
I am ready, and I am going to get this thing started and shock the shit out of both of you with my number 1 pick for my favorite stadium. Okay. University of Washington Husky Stadium.
Really?
Beautiful. I love this. And I know why you love this.
Tell me why I love it.
The environment of the Husky Stadium is probably the most beautifulest shit in college football.
And what is it next to?
This shit is next to a gorgeous lake. And I mean, you can be docked in.
Yes, you fucking can. Yes, you can.
And you can see the field.
And you can tailgate on your boat.
You can tailgate on your boat and swim to shore if you want to. It is amazing. It is amazing. 100%.
I just feel like I won. So
no, that is not a bad one.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
I didn't expect anybody to say that one. I'm not gonna lie.
Well, thank you, Dan. With the second pick, give me Sanford Stadium. Listen, not only do you have the stadium, but you have the entire city to tailgate in. Therefore, you are a winner by default. And it's just a beautiful place, man. Just absolutely beautiful place. Don't need no fucking water. Listen, go to Lake Lanier, right?
Don't go to Lake Lanier. That shit is cursed, and you will fucking die.
I know.
For real.
Don't tell that to anyone else. I'm going Sanford Stadium.
Okay, so this is a snake draft, so I got 2 picks, right?
Yes, sir.
And give me the parameters one more time before I pick, because I want to make sure I do this right.
Any college football venue.
As long as it hosts college football.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So, we ready for this?
Go for it.
Give me the Coliseum.
USC?
Give me yes. On top of that, give me the big house.
Michigan.
Give me the big house.
I like it.
Give me the big house.
I like it.
I'm with my second pick. I'm going Penn State Beaver Stadium.
I knew it.
It is massive. It is absolutely fucking beautiful. It is insane. I love that place. It is absolutely beautiful.
So now I get 2, and
you get 2 picks.
I'm really caught up because I want the Rose Bowl. I got to go with the Rose Bowl. But I'm torn now because I don't know if I want the Horseshoe or Notre Dame. I got to go with Notre Dame just because of the history and all. I mean, it's absolutely beautiful. It's been renovated. It's absolutely gorgeous inside. The people there are extremely friendly. It's on one of the most beautiful campuses you will ever see in your entire life. I will go with that, although the Horseshoe would be really close for me.
Well, mine was easy. With my final pick, I'm going LSU Tiger Stadium.
See, I'm surprised that there was a stadium that I thought Keon was going to go get once we said that if it hosts football. So let's see if he gets it or not.
All right.
I think I know what you're talking about. I know what you're talking about.
Wait a second. So this one might take me a second because I'm in a 3-way tie, right?
I was stuck.
So I was going to say, so look, Peach Bowl.
Mercedes-Benz.
Yep. I'm thinking, nah, give me the Cotton Bowl. Give me the
Jerry
Cotton
World?
Bowl.
That's exactly what it was. I
Give me
knew
the
it.
Cotton Bowl.
I knew
Give me
it.
the Cotton Bowl.
No,
Give
he
me the
wants. He
Cotton
wants
Bowl.
the Red River is what he wants. That's what it
Yeah.
is.
Yeah,
The
give me
old
the
Cotton Bowl?
I called it.
Yeah.
Called it.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to go Jerry World.
No.
No.
Give me the Cotton Bowl
No.
because that is so here for those who don't know, right? And this is why Texas and OU fans think that they have the biggest rivalry in college football, let alone in the conference, because I can't all the way disagree with them. And let me tell you why. Because the Red River rivalry is held at the Texas State Fair. The Texas State Fair, there is only one entrance in, and that is the only entrance out. You have to literally walk past the Cotton Bowl before you actually get to the fairgrounds. So everybody that everybody that's there at the Texas State Fair, they have to walk past it. So I'll give you that.
So we'll recap. So we'll recap, and then what we can do is do honorable mentions potentially as well if you'd like.
Okay.
So here we go. Dan. So for the viewers listening, let us know in the comments who won this draft. Dan, your picks: Washington Husky Stadium, Rose Bowl, and Notre Dame Stadium.
Correct.
I've got Sanford Stadium.
Wait, isn't the Rose Bowl held at the Coliseum?
No,
Rose
Bowl Stadium. Coliseum is where USC plays, where the Olympics were.
Correct.
Yeah, my bad.
Yep.
My mind got mixed up.
So I have Sanford Stadium, Beaver Stadium, and Tiger Stadium. And Keon, you have the Coliseum, the Big House, and the Cotton Bowl. I think all three are very legit.
I was going to go water. I was going to go Huskies, Clemson, and Tennessee, all water venues where you can tailgate from your boat on all three venues. But I love my list. I mean, I love your list too, but I love my list. I'm talking about one of the most iconic, beautiful stadiums with Washington. And now, granted, if you go at the wrong time of the year, it's going to be a shitty game. I mean, like shitty weather probably. But if you go the right day, it's perfect.
So one winter matchup can completely screw over Dan's entire list.
Yeah.
You know what though? No, I'll tell you this. If you look at it this way, Dan, you got the scenery. In my opinion, Dan got the scenic views, right? With some iconic in there. Keon got the iconic venues. Oh. I've got venues that if you put the right fan base in them,
so
top notch.
So here's what I'll argue.
He said no fan base.
No.
Yeah, I know. That's why I picked what I picked. That's exactly why I picked what I picked. Because I thought about Georgia's fan base in the Coliseum. I thought about Georgia's fan base at the I don't know. I just blanked at the Cotton Bowl. I thought about Georgia's fan base. Like that's one of those things you got to understand. Our fan base would go crazy in all of the places I listed and you listed. We would really enjoy all of the places that Dan listed.
So
I'll say this.
It's kind of funny. Like when I talk to Georgia fans, the one place, and I've never been there. So, I mean, I'm picking a place that I've never been. I've never been to the Rose Bowl. But every Georgia fan that I've talked about, like I've talked to fans. I went to the Notre Dame game. No way in hell I was going to miss that one. But I didn't go to the Rose Bowl game. But all the Georgia fans that I talked to that went to the Rose Bowl game said that was probably their favorite game they've ever been to. Now, I don't know if that's just because of the way the game played out, but they loved it. They loved being there. They loved everything about it. The only thing they didn't really, the only negative I heard is that LA is completely overrated. But I mean, I don't know. I love my three. I love your three. And Keen, I think you said it real good. Like everybody would love to go to the stadiums that I picked, though.
I'll tell you this though. I think like if you look at environments, my three.
But yours would be the best for environments.
Hold on. But I can justify everyone regardless. For me, obviously Sanford Stadium, the city of Athens in itself is top notch, right? You have the stadium and the city around it. For Penn State, you have to be there, and I think you have to go there to understand what it encompasses, right?
Not for the whiteout, you don't.
No. Well, hold on. If you go in there just in general, and you look from like when I went up there, I got to view the stadium and the scenic view of the valley behind it, right, and in the back. It's insane. It's insane. It's absolutely stunning. From the trip up into Happy Valley, around the area, the whole area around it it's just insanely beautiful. And I can fit 111,000 people in that bitch. And 111,000. But then you look at Tiger Stadium down in Baton Rouge, right off the Mississippi. I think that's impressive in itself too. And you're at 100,000 plus as well. I think all 9 venues have their own reasons for being in the list. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yours and mine. I think all of yours and mine are.
But to be fair though,
million.
It's ironic, but at the same time, it makes perfect sense. Dan started off with a low key banger that nobody thought about. Right now, let's do this. We have our 9. What are some honorable mentions from stadiums? I'll give you one. I don't care what anyone says. Lane Stadium in Blacksburg. I love it.
Yes.
I love it.
Yes.
I love it.
I got one. Autzen Stadium, Oregon.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So the way it was designed, it traps sound. So it's one of the loudest, the second loudest stadium in the whole country. Can you guess what the loudest stadium is? It's not a college; it's an NFL stadium.
It's the Seattle Seahawks.
Yep, absolutely. So the way that they designed that stadium, no sound can escape.
Yep. My honorable mention. Ooh. As far as stadiums go,
Dan, you mentioned the Horseshoe. I think that's one.
You know, it's a really good stadium to be in. Just environment wise, is Madison. Madison,
Wisconsin. Camp Randall.
Yep.
No.
Actually, you know what? Honorable mention DKR.
DKR. State?
No, Texas.
Oh, Texas.
Texas.
Yeah,
you know, it is.
Part of me.
You're on the field almost.
Part of me says Iowa just because of the hospital to the side of it. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, I'll tell you this. If you've never had a chance, I've got 2 stadiums for the view alone. Mm-hmm. BYU.
Yes.
App State.
Add Utah into that.
Yeah. Even though Utah's trash and everything about Utah is trash.
The fact that they built a stadium inside of a fucking mountain is
pretty impressive. No, Jordan Hare does not get my vote. Neither does the Swamp nor Neyland Stadium. They can all eat shit. I don't care.
That's why I didn't name not one of them.
Dan was thinking about it.
I'm going to send this picture to Robert, and I don't know if he's able to share it. But if you want to just talk about one of the most beautiful, iconic stadiums of all time, BYU baseball stadium. And like Robert said, a lot of this stuff doesn't translate because you don't have an opportunity to see what it actually looks like. So I don't know if you could share this. I'm going to send you a picture right now. You tell me that's not one of the most incredible views you've ever seen for a baseball stadium.
That is wild. Let me see if I can. I'm gonna do this.
Yeah, that's the backdrop. The mountains.
Oh, that's gorgeous. That is gorgeous.
Yeah. I mean, tell me you wouldn't want to go see a game there.
Yeah.
The Pittsburgh Pirates. No, we're getting way fucking
all the
out.
bridges. All the
Oh
bridges.
my God, gorgeous.
Yeah, I'm not dealing with baseball. Yeah,
I was an umpire. I saw a lot of stadiums. Sorry.
Yeah, you're right. You ate a lot of hot dogs too, didn't you?
God damn right.
Hey, fair enough. No, is there any other ones that y'all thought, guys? Hold on. Any venues that are overrated? We didn't throw that question out there.
Yes.
The Swamp. I don't like the Swamp. I don't like the Swamp.
Well, hold on. What about Hard Rock Stadium?
In Miami?
Yeah. I'd rather have the Orange Bowl back, in all seriousness.
Listen, I've only driven by it, but it looks fucking badass on the outside.
Well, Hard Rock?
Yeah, I've never been in there.
I still do something about the nostalgia of the Orange Bowl, though. I mean, Evan Grimes says Florida State.
Well, hold on.
Doak Campbell.
I've never been there, and Keon, maybe you've been there. Has anybody ever been to the Superdome
in New Orleans?
Yes.
No. Mm-mm. I can't say I guarantee I could talk to Cedric's dad. He'd know.
I think they said, if I'm not mistaken, it's either first or second on the list of between Super Bowls. No, Super Bowls hosted is the Superdome. Mm-hmm. And I've heard that's an incredible place to play. I don't know if the stadium is good or not. Like I went to Fenway. Fenway's a shithole.
Yeah,
I mean it's gorgeous. It's awesome, but it's a shithole.
I could believe it. Thinking. I'm trying to think.
That bullshit in Tennessee.
You think that's overrated?
Yeah, it's overrated.
In Tennessee, the upper deck is straight up in the fucking air. Like I'm mortified of heights, and I felt like I was going to die the whole game. So I just I'm like I can't do this. The seats in the upper deck are like this; they're right on top of each other.
I'm going to tell you another spot that I would never ever put on this list. Williams-Brice. It is in the middle of hell. It is beyond fucking hot all the time at Williams-Brice. It is miserable. It's literally in a concrete jungle. It is. There's no trees, nothing. Now, the one thing saving them is a fucking Bojangles and a Waffle House right down the street, like walking distance. That's it. Hey, outside of that,
nobody serves Alabama. I've never.
My question is this: I'm not discrediting this. I want you to understand this. I'm not discrediting it. But what about Bryant-Denny would make it one of the best venues? And if you were having to draft it, what would make it?
It's just the environment, and we said the environment doesn't count.
Now, if you include environments, but even then, think about this. Even then, if you under Nick Saban, they got to a point where games people were complaining about it because it wasn't like a hungry feel to it. You know what I mean?
So here, this is. I know this is going to be extremely unpopular, and I may become the most hated person in America after saying this. I mean, I've been to Sanford Stadium so many freaking times. Did I just literally get kicked out of the show?
No, you continue. I'm letting you talk on this one. I'm not being associated with this.
I've been inside of Sanford Stadium so many times that it's just a stadium to me at this point. Like it doesn't I don't get the goosebump feelings and I've been to some really good games and I've been to some real stale games too. But for me, Sanford Stadium it doesn't have those it's not a goosebump stadium to me. I mean, I'm proud of it. I like it. And I know you guys are going to murder me, but it's just, it's just not a goosebump stadium to me. I'm sorry. I mean, I don't think that's disrespectful in any kind of way. It's just not a goosebump stadium.
You heard it here first. No, I get what you're saying. I think when you look at it, right, like, and I want to see if I can help you out here. I can't help you with what you said, but I will try to help.
I didn't say it sucked. I just said it's just not a goosebump stadium.
Let's see these comments.
You might be right, Evan. I'm getting murdered. I already knew it. Like, and I didn't even say anything bad. So I'm just saying it's not a goosebump stadium, and it could possibly be because I've been to probably 300 games in my lifetime there. So I don't know.
I will say this: if I think Georgia gets this feeling from the outside perspective that it's like the old days still. Like Kirby Smart has changed the culture and the environment on game days. But the thing about it is, our home games, we are beating the absolute fuck out of people. And it's the same feeling that I guarantee you Alabama fans come around.
Oh, shit.
So maybe that's what it is, Dan. Maybe that's what it is.
He said our home games come around and we're beating the absolute fuck out of people.
I mean, tell me.
Oh, God.
I think
I lost the AirPod. That's funny as hell.
I think it's just because I've been to so many games there that, like, it just loses its luster after a while. Like it's like if you live in a mansion, right, and you go to that mansion every single day, you don't think it's that special. But somebody who doesn't live there probably thinks it's really, really special. Does that make sense? Like,
leave my cardboard box alone.
Yeah, I don't live in a mansion.
It's my home.
I'm sorry.
No, I know what you mean. I get what you mean. I think what it is though too is like for me, I'm gonna have to use the Penn State situation, right? Probably a once in a lifetime experience opportunity that I would get.
Right.
You take advantage of it and you go there and you just soak in the moment. And for me going up there, no one because this guy was giving me a tour, telling me that the max amount of people and all this stuff is like 111,000, and then you picture yourself in the stadium, right? Like it's dead, it's empty, completely empty, right? But then you picture 111,000 people beside you, and then it's a surreal moment doing that makes it more meaningful and impactful.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? It's just, you just have to be there to truly understand and soak in everything, if that makes sense. I'm assuming that's what you mean, but once you do that enough, it becomes to a point where it doesn't mean as much.
Yeah, I mean, it happens.
It's basically the law of averages.
Plus, on top of that, we do be beating the fuck out of people, so it's kind of like fucking 49. Fucking 49-9.
Yeah, it could be Florida State, but we're not going to do that there. I'm not trying to hear more bitching and complaining.
We didn't have our full players.
You would have been us by 60 with a full squad, healthy squad.
Yeah, we wouldn't have beat you by 60, but we still would have won the game by at least 21 points. So,
anyways, remember, make sure to leave a comment in the comments. Let us know who you thought won the draft. Be on the lookout for our social media. Guys, if you need to know, at the DGD Podcast. All the socials, find it. Oh,
Podcast Poppy. 2 eyes.
And then
Dan Kylie 3 on Twitter or whatever. And hey, listen, please check out our podcast Tuesday 7:30. Me and Harrison also.
Top Dog Talk. Yes,
Top Dog Talk.
Any more controversial takes? Send us off on one. Keon, if people's been in Twitter Spaces, let's do this, guys. We started this show off talking about Justus Terry and Isaiah Gibson. Is it time that we bring out the receipts and put some people in their places? Because it might not be a controversial take, but these people are being awful fucking quiet now that they lost him to. And they better watch out for Juju, because Juju could all go to Auburn. And if he does that, boy, they are in shambles.
I mean, you got this one dude who goes by the handle of Fight On. He was talking a lot of shit. Had to shut that shit up. We had this guy who goes by the name of Serb, who's also a USC fan. He's pretty much off the app now. USC Poppy had to smack him around a couple of times, but he's cool. No, the USC fans really just avoid me at this point. I don't know why, but yeah, no.
Can we see? Maybe this might be the last comment of the night, folks.
All right, hold on.
Evan said,
you got to put up this one from Harrison. Top Dog Talk.
oh, hold on.
Dan's feeling the Sanford Stadium is like the feeling of moving to your favorite vacation city full time. Sometimes it just gets old. That's exactly right, Harrison. Like, okay, Harrison's giving me shit, but then he knows what I'm talking about. He just likes to give me shit.
Dude, it's the same way with Charleston. When I was stationed in Charleston for 6 years, the first year of it was cool. And then you do everything that you want to do. And then you realize, oh shit, I live here now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's fucking miserable. Dude, picture this. I want you to picture this. Just to get the fuck away, I went to Myrtle Beach just to get away.
Damn.
And Myrtle Beach is touristy as shit too.
Yes, it is.
So
I would hate to live in a tourist city.
Oh, it's nasty. It's shit's terrible.
I would absolutely hate that shit.
It's terrible. And it's expensive as fuck too, man.
Atlanta is for real becoming that. For real.
I hate Atlanta. Oh my God. That's not a hot take. That's not a controversial take. People who live in the state of Georgia don't go to fucking Atlanta. Like I don't go there unless I have to go there. And I have to go there for work. I hate it. God, I hate it. I hate the traffic. I hate oh my God. I drive like this down the highway. I mean, it's like,
hold on. You talk about driving down the highway. Ain't you stop and go traffic gate lanes?
You're 100% right. There's 12 lanes each direction and they ain't moving. You damn right.
I've been to too many Turner Field games, a Braves game at Turner Field to know that.
Yeah. All right. I'm getting out of here, boys. You guys killing me.
Guys, it's a good show. Guys, thanks to everybody for tuning in, guys. We had 134 people watching.
Yes.
So make sure to like, follow, subscribe, rate, review. If you're on Twitter X, share this shit. Share it. Share it to your USC fans. Share it to whoever you feel the need to share this out to. And if people want to come in and pop off, that's okay. We welcome the debate and the banter. Just what we do. It's what we do. But with that being said, we're going to wrap this thing up. Keon, Dan, any final thoughts, any final words? Any retractions of statements?
UFC, we're about to put you in the locker twice. So understand where your new home is. Just remember, Father's Day just passed. And Lincoln Riley, you owe Kirby Smart a Father's Day present. And Trey Scott a Father's Day present.
Good point.
Hey,
think about that.
My point is just keep the momentum going. Nothing's promised, nothing's given, but just keep the momentum going. Let's try to get this class locked up. And like they say, put the hay in the barn and let's go to work.
Come and fill that number one spot.
I got two things. First, Kirby does not just only want Waffle House. He wants better than that. And that's saying much. That's saying something. And two, don't call Kirby Smart unless you're ready to commit. Guys, with that being said, have a great night. Have a great weekend. We will catch y'all next time.